So let's go over an example on finding whether two ratios are equal. So let's say we have, make up some numbers here. It's 3 to 9 equal to 4 to 11, for example. So we know how to do this from last video. We do 9 times 4, times 36, multiply the outsides. 3 times 11 is 33. Since 36 does not equal to 3, these are not equal. Now you could have done this with fractions. Noted. It's 3 to 9. Started out with the assumption that 3 over 9 is equal to 4 over 11. And we cross multiply. We get 3 times 11 is 9 times 4, which is 33, 36. And we know that can't be true. 33 does not equal 66. So our assumption that they were equal is wrong. They are not equal. This is just the same, this second way of doing it is the exact same as the first way of doing it, except representing it with fractions instead of ratios. So now let's say we had a question like this. So for n. So n is an unknown. So what if let's just say the question was worded as such. What does n have to be for these two ratios to be equal? So we do the same thing as multiply the insides, 36. Do the same with the outsides, 3 times n is 36. So we need this, since these two are equal. We made that kind of a requirement because we wanted for these two ratios to be equal, these would have to have the same products. So they both have to be 36. So now, how can this hold true? How can 3 times n equal 36? Well, let's start out by dividing both sides by 3. Let's cancel out. And you're left with n is equal to 36 over 3, which is 12. So n has to be 12 for these two ratios to be equivalent. And how can we confirm that? Well, we'll just sub it back in here. So 3 times n, which turned out to be 12. 12 times 3 is 36. And in fact, it does equal 36. So that's how you know you have it right. If you wanted to do this with fractions, you would write. So we want these to be equal. Now it's not an assumption anymore like we were doing. In this case, we were trying to find whether they were equal, and we started out with the assumption that 3 over 9 was equal to 4 over 11, and we found out that that can't be the case. Now it is a requirement. We're saying that these are equal, but we just have to find out what n has to be. So like you see in the last video, n will have cross multiply. So we're left with 3 times n is equal to 9 times 4. So 3 times n is 36, which you can kind of tell is the exact same equation as above. And we're going to be left with the same result, n equals 12. So there's just two ways of kind of doing a question like this. And it doesn't really matter which one is first. The order does matter. 9 to 3 is not the same as 3 to 9. But when you're trying to find if two of them are equal, it doesn't matter whether we had 4 to n, 3 to 9. You would still get the exact same result, that n is equal to 12.